surely I was wrong sleeping with a lot of women. Yes, I was wrong. It was wrong. Yes, I wish it hadn't happened. But, okay, after that, let's deal with reality. It has happened.
What is your greatest fear?
Oh, not being able to be with my wife forever, and my baby, and my son Andre, and my family, and my friends. I mean, my greatest fear is that maybe I had to leave here earlier than I wanted to.
What a smile. Good evening, and welcome to Face to Face. Good to see you again. As you probably remember, it was Thursday, November 7th, that Magic Johnson shocked the country with his announcement that he was retiring from the Lakers because he tested HIV positive. I couldn't believe it. I'm sure you had the same reaction. I told my boss I thought I would get on a plane and try to get an interview with Magic for a special the next night. He said, "What makes you think Magic will talk with you?" I said, "Well, when I did the news in Los Angeles for 7 years, I sort of knew Magic, and we were friends." So I took off and called a number of people in Los Angeles. But every one of them said the same thing to me. Magic and I are friends. And I thought, all of us think we're Magic's friends. It's because Magic makes you feel you are his friend. No matter who you are, he makes you feel special. Well, as it turns out, I do have for you tonight his first primetime interview. We taped it last Wednesday at his home in Los Angeles. His wife, Cookie, did not want to be interviewed. One-on-one, Magic is really Earvin. That's his given name and what his close friends call him. The house was quiet. We sat down next to his pool and talked. He didn't seem nervous at all, even though every question was clearly going to be personal. It's coming up, so stay with us. Magic Johnson first learned he was HIV positive from a blood test he had taken for insurance purposes. He was told on October 25th. Over the next 2 weeks, he had further medical tests to confirm the diagnosis. We begin the interview with the moment Magic faced the cameras a month ago and told America what had happened to him.
First of all, let me say good late afternoon. Because of the HIV virus that I have attained, I will have to retire from the Lakers.
When you first found out that you tested positive, were you scared? And did you think about death?
Well, I was scared, yes. You know, I'd be lying if I didn't say I was scared. But I didn't think about really dying and death. The main thing was my wife, telling her, first of all.
How did you tell her?
Well, it's no one way. I'm riding home and I'm thinking about this, that, how I'm going to tell her. And basically I just came out and told her. I mean, there's no way around it. There's no soft way. There's no easy way. I just came out and told her.
What was her reaction?
Well, she started to cry, like I think any person would. I think she was afraid more. And she was afraid because the uncertainty. She didn't know if she had the virus, if she was concerned the baby.
Earvin and Cookie Kelly were married in September this year. A month later, he tested positive. By that time, Cookie was pregnant. The two had been dating since 1977. They were college sweethearts at Michigan State. But during that 14-year relationship, Magic dated many women and had other intimate relationships. Cookie has since been tested, and to date, she and their unborn baby are not infected. In the Sports Illustrated article, you said she was stunned and hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Why was she hurt?
Well, I think that any time that she finally, okay, we're going to get married, we finally did it, She don't have to be dealing with being a girlfriend or the fiance anymore. Now she's actually my wife, and she has, the uncertainty of that has passed, and now, we think we're going to live a happy life and have a happy marriage, and then boom. I mean, I think anybody would be hurt in the whole situation. I mean, just like your whole life is crumbling after you're so happy, and then boom, you're sad.
Magic, this is a personal question. You feel free to tell me if you feel comfortable with answering it. But what have the doctors told you regarding sex with your wife and kissing?
Kissing, no problem. I can kiss. I can have sex with her, too, just protected. So, no problem. We go on. We still are affectionate. You can't really get it from kissing, touching, feeling. You can't. It really doesn't happen that way. No, I can't have unprotected sex with my wife. But I have to have protected sex. Other than that, we're the same.
Okay.
That's why I'm saying, Connie, that the public needs to be educated, really.
Magic, you're on medication now?
Mm-hmm.
ACT?
Yes.
And any side effects?
No.
No problem?
No problem. I've run 4 miles a day. I lift weights. I'm, still working out, still doing everything I did before.
How about your wife? Is she on any medication yet?
No.
Earvin also had to tell his son about his condition. Andre, who is 10 years old, lives with his mother in Michigan. Earvin had never married her. What did he say to you?
Oh, he just said, "Daddy, I love you." That's it, point blank. He gave me a hug and a kiss, and just, what you need in this situation is love and support. And that's all that my family, as well as Andre, has given me.
Did you gave him some advice? Or?
Right. Well, I told him no sex. That's the safest sex is no sex.
Do you think he understood?
I think so. He's really smart, and he's really attentive, and he understands, and that's the best thing.
Magic, how do you think you were infected?
Well, the doctor said that it's definitely through sex. It's just, it's hard to transmit, and either I or the young lady had to be bleeding, and through the course of intercourse in terms of sex, it transmitted, and that's what happened.
Are you certain that it was with a woman?
Oh, well, it only could be, unless I got some bad blood. But I haven't had no transfusions or nothing like that. If you're asking, am I homosexual? No, I'm not. But I've had to deal with those rumors circling around.
In this country, very few men get AIDS from sex with a woman.
Right.
So I think that's why people wonder if that really is the way you got it.
Yes.
Are you certain? You feel fairly certain?
Oh, yeah. Well, it only could be that way. I haven't had sex with a man, so it can only be that way. It's no sense sitting here trying to say how I got it, because I already know that. But what I'm trying to do is educate the heterosexuals. They need to be educated. Now, AIDS itself, yes, we've been prone to think, okay, it's through homosexual activity. And yes, a lot of that's happened. But with this virus, 75% of the people who have it are heterosexuals. And that's why the public...
In the world.
Yes, in the world. And that's why the public has got to get educated about this.
Have you tried to find out exactly who it was?
Oh, yeah. You want everybody that you've had contact with, to get checked without a doubt. I mean...
Have you been able to determine?
Well, right now, most people coming up negative, and so we'll see what happens. I mean, you want it for them, for their safety, as well as safety for other people.
Did you call some
without
women?
a doubt. You know, I'm a responsible man. I'm a man. So I have a responsibility to people that I had sex with. And so, yes, you do that.
But you haven't found out yet?
Not yet. But, you know, it's still testing going on, so.
Magic, you know, there have been so many rumors that go around, and you've dealt with this.
Oh, yeah.
You know how the rumors got around that you may be gay or bisexual, right?
Right, but I'm not gay, and so you just go from there. That's all.
Another rumor is that you've known about your condition for a while.
No, that's false. Definitely false.
All right. There's another rumor that you actually are further along than you're saying.
No, that's not true either. I'm really feeling strong and healthy. You know, the only thing behind this, Connie, is that it's bad that people are misleading people. And that's the shame about this. You know, even today, you know, I read where I was supposed to be in New York at some thing with Donald Trump, okay? And I was sick. I couldn't make it. And that's the only bad thing. My family is paranoid, you know, because they had to read this in the paper, so they have to call me. So you have to deal with that.
They could have called me, and I'm going to tell them, no, I'm doing an interview with him. He's fine.
Yeah, but those are the things you have to deal with. But I can deal with them, but friends and people who care about me, now, see, they read it, and then they get concerned.
Martina Navratilova said that if she had gotten AIDS, people would have said, oh, she's gay, she had it coming to her. Also, if a woman, a heterosexual woman had gotten AIDS, they'd say, from sleeping with people, they would have said, oh, she's a whore, she's a slut. And the corporations would have dropped her like a lead balloon. What do you think?
Well, I think Martina, you know, she's made some good points out of some things that she has said.
But do you agree with her that if a heterosexual woman had gotten AIDS from sleeping around, that people would not have treated her the same way? The corporations would have dropped these endorsements? That's
hard to say. I don't know. I don't think people are that cruel, but in a sense, yes, they might have. But I can't really, we all can't say because it hasn't happened yet. I mean, you can only comment on that once it happens. Like I said, she's made some good points out of this, but, you know, the thing about it is that whether they'll drop them, whether, I'm helping everybody. I'm helping the gays, I'm helping heterosexuals, I'm helping everybody. This is not a one person disease. This is an everybody disease. So I don't care how you get it, how you've gotten it, I'm here to help you.
Now that you are in the thick of the AIDS issue, what have you learned about how society treats people with AIDS?
I've had no problem.
I know you haven't, but can you see how society is treating people? Do you understand what the gays have been going through?
Oh, I understand completely. And I really, you know, I feel for them, really, because they've been fighting this and been saying this for a long time. And even I had not been listening, you see?
Magic.
Yeah, I see that because you know me so well. See, since we've been together so long, you know, it's funny because you're trying to, well, how do I ask him that? Am I a reporter now or am I his friend? You know, how am I going to approach him with these questions? But you just come on with it. Don't you worry about it. I'm going to still love you no matter what happens here. You know that. And, well, you probably don't know. Connie and I go way back when she was with Channel 2 back in L.A. And I used to have a big crush on her because I just came to L.A. And so we did a lot of interviews. So, okay, you're up to breast now. Okay, go. You're up to speed. Okay.
That's absolutely true. That is pure magic, trying to put someone else at ease. Just when he could be down, he brings the moment back up with a smile, a laugh, a positive note. It can be disarming. But we did go on and talk about the controversial subject of his bachelor lifestyle. When we come back, stay with us.
Guys who make a lot of money are targets, but guys who are athletes are like a special kind of target just because they have both the money, the status, and this exposure.
Okay, Miss Graham. Good luck. Thank you. From checkout time.
Oh, thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
To game time.
Give me a ticket and come in.
From city to city, America's top professional athletes are surrounded by fans, old and young. They crave an autograph, a hello, or just a smile from the heroes of center court. Players have become superstars as sports has gone Hollywood, athletes acquiring rock star stature. And with it comes a standard showbiz perk of life on the road. Easy sex with women some call groupies. According to Ava Gardner, a longtime girlfriend of a player with the Atlanta Hawks, everywhere pro sports are played, you can find these kinds of women. She resents groupies. She says they will even break up marriages.
They don't care. They don't respect. So what if these guys are married? You know why? Because I'll go to bed with him. He'll fall in love with me. I'll change his mind. I'm wonderful. He hasn't had anything like this. Or I'm wonderful. I'm beautiful. And they do it. They want it. They'll do anything.
At a recent LA Clippers game, the crowd was cheering, and the house was packed with beautiful women like rap singer Dina D, currently dating a player.
If you come to a game by yourself and, you look kind of decent, I guess, people might mistake you for a groupie, because a lot of women do that. They have summer league basketball games, and it's famous for, like, the groupies and the women going out to catch a husband, catch a basketball player.
Angie Brown dates and parties with top athletes. Unfortunately, she isn't so sure that most pro athletes and groupies have changed their behavior in the face of AIDS.
It hasn't affected a lot of people. You would think they would just slow down, but it didn't seem that way.
In the Sports Illustrated article, you talked about the women that were available anytime, anywhere. And you said you did your best to accommodate as many women as I could, most of them through unprotected sex.
Mm-hmm.
Now, some people would look at that and say that's morally wrong. And others would also say that when you say you accommodated women, it was like you were doing them a big favor.
No, I think that when you say something like that, then it comes out the wrong way. I mean, when you interpret that, you think that, oh, he's just sleeping with everybody, and it's not like that, not at all. So maybe I use bad choice of words, but of course, I was a bachelor, and I lived a bachelor's life at that particular time, and I'm paying the price for it. So, but I respect women to the utmost, and everybody that I've dated can tell you that.
There is that fast lane life, the lure of the women, that occurs for someone like you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, here you are, you're Magic Johnson, You got the great smile. You got and everybody really likes you. And a lot of women are out there hanging around, available to you like that.
Of course. And it happens to not just myself, but a lot of people who are high-profile people.
I'm talking about the people who believe that the lifestyle that you were leading was morally wrong.
Oh, yeah. I could say that. In God's eyes, too, is wrong. No question about it. You know, I agree with them on that. But
you know, you were brought up with the highest values. I know that. And I think that people know that they see good in magic.
Right.
So it doesn't quite square.
I understand. And I understand where they're coming from. And I'm not sitting here trying to deny that either. Only thing I can do is come at them straight. You know, I'm battling for my, I'm trying to battle for my life. So only thing I can ask for is forgiveness and ask for them to try to educate their kids and the people out here and try to raise money to find a cure or answer for this disease. If people don't want to say I'm this, I'm that, that's fine. See, because that's not going to hurt me. I told you already, I'm going to continue on. And people have said this, that, you know, I've been in the Globe, the National Enquirer, all that. See, that nothing like that bothers me.
Really doesn't?
No, it doesn't.
Oh, but a lot of it is hurtful.
Because I know the truth. See, when you know the truth, it don't hurt. I mean, am I supposed to now lay down, or am I supposed to stop living? No. No, you got to carry on. You got to keep living. You got to keep working out. You got to keep doing the things that you naturally do. And that's the thing that the doctor said how you can beat it. If I'm down, it'll get me. If I'm sitting around moping, if I'm crying all the time, if I'm feeling sorry for myself, if I'm locked or into my house, don't want to see nobody, then it's going to overtake me. But hey, it's happened, okay. Okay, I have it. But life goes on.
You also, though, you don't want kids to think necessarily that they can beat AIDS, because if they can beat it, then, hey, you know, you understand what I'm saying?
I understand that, and I'm not preaching that at all. I'm telling kids no sex is the safest sex.
You've known for about a month now that you test positive for HIV. How are you handling it? I mean, I get the feeling, see, you put the game face on for me, you know? And that you really have some feelings that are down deep in here that you don't really want to share with me.
Well, first of all, I share, you know, I've never shared my life with anybody publicly, you know, because that's just me. You know, at home is at home. Now, what you want to give to the public, that's what you give. Now, with this situation, I'm giving everything from my heart.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I came out to say I have it to help people.
But tell me, what is your greatest fear?
Oh, not being able to be with my wife forever, and my baby, and my son Andre, and my family, and my friends. I mean, my greatest fear is that maybe I had to leave here earlier than I wanted to. But if that's God's will and that's what he wants, and then that's what's going to happen, then, you know, I can't do anything about it. All I can do is put it in his hands, ask for his forgiveness, and go from there. I mean, all I can do is pray a lot and hope that he finds a way for me to be around here for a long time.
And what is the hardest part as you live day by day?
Day by day, nothing right now. You know, when maybe my T cells drop all the way down or I don't have any, then the fear, oh man, it might be any day. But other than that, right now, it's no fear. I have no fear right now.
Honest?
Honest. I'm talking to you. This is me. This is all I can tell you.
No, but I'd be scared.
No, you can't be. I've never been scared in my life about anything. And if I was scared, I turned that into positive because I meet challenges head on. I grew up with not having a lot. I grew up, you know, poor. So I had thought to get to this stage in life, and I will continue to fight. I only know one way, and that's to fight and carry on. That's the only way I know. I can't sit here and lie to you and say, When the camera's off, well, oh man, I'm scared to death, and I'm gonna walk around eggshell, and I'm gonna worry what people say, and that's not me. You know, I can tell you, I've been straight with you. We've always had, but I've been straight this whole interview. I've been straight with everybody else. Yes, it was my fault. Yes, unprotected sex. Yes, you know, morally I was wrong, sleeping with a lot of women. Yes, I was wrong. It was wrong. Yes, I wish it hadn't happened. But, okay, after that, let's deal with reality. It has happened. Okay, now what do we do about it?
Magic still intends to play in the 1992 Olympic Games, and he still wants to fulfill his dream to own an NBA team. He says he's continuing to take AZT, a medication which is standard therapy for HIV infection and slows the reproduction of the virus. When we come back, more about magic and some powerful information that could change you and your children's lives. The story of a woman named Roxy, coming up. As we conducted our own research about AIDS, we quickly realized that so many of us don't know all the correct answers to some very important questions that Magic's situation has raised. Dr. Bob Arnott of CBS This Morning and I asked some teenagers to sit down with us to find out what they know about AIDS and what they don't know. We must caution you that some of the information is somewhat explicit. Inglewood High School is only a few miles from the Los Angeles Forum, where the Lakers play ball, but it's practically their second home. The team holds practice sessions in the school gym, and these kids are some of their biggest fans. But they're also a group just beginning to explore the road to romance, more aware than ever of the life-threatening risks that sex now entails. Dr. Bob Arnott and I wanted to find out just what these kids knew. So Inglewood's principal, Ken Crow, took us to an advanced placement English class where we found a group of seniors eager to talk about sex and AIDS. In fact, we were surprised at just how open they were. You're going to have to be real honest. I'm going to ask you, do you have sex? And if you use condoms, and you got to be totally honest. You can't say, well, I have a friend who does this. You got to say, you know me, right? Who wants to volunteer? Well, I guess we're not too shy. So, we took 24 students to the library. How many of you are aware that Magic Johnson tested HIV positive? How many of you knew about AIDS before his news conference? You knew about it. What happened to you after you heard Magic Johnson's announcement? Was there a change?
Yeah.
What was that change?
Realized that anyone could really get it. Yeah.
Were you at all disappointed in him?
In a way, I was. Because I felt like he kind of let me down. Because sleeping with so many men and women made me lose respect for him. Well, I still respect him as a basketball player, as an athlete. But it made me lose kind of some respect for him. And I didn't think he was as great as I always imagined.
Sure, you're a football player. Magic says he slept with a large number of women. Do you sleep with a lot of women?
Not a lot.
Well, what's not a lot? How many?
Overall, I mean, I say I've had sex maybe 4 times.
How many women have you slept with?
I'd say in my life, about 10.
When did you start being sexually active?
I lost my virginity right after the 8th grade.
Did you use a condom the first time you had sex?
The first time I had sex, no, I did not use a condom.
Did any of you use a condom the first time you had sex?
Yeah.
How many no? Sorry.
Oh, nothing. I said, well, I never had sex.
You haven't had sex. How old are you?
I'm 17.
How have you been able to resist the temptation?
Oh, it's hard. I mean, I'm a very moral person. you know, and I stick to my values and morals. I don't care if they're gonna, if they have to accept it if I'm gonna be in any relationship.
Do your reasons also include AIDS?
Oh yeah, that's what kind of made me have some values and morals.
Yeah. Do you know what? Magic Johnson right now is trying to deal with what kind of message he should give you. And he has said that abstinence is the best, but if you are going to practice sex, safe sex is good. Is he giving you the right message?
Yeah. Magic Johnson gave us a realistic message, not anything crazy like abstinence. I mean, how many people, teenagers, really don't have sex? If you have a statistic on that, he gave us a realistic message.
But it's like everybody's preaching having safe sex. There's no such thing as really safe sex, because you can get pregnant with a condom, you can catch AIDS with a condom. So there's really nothing that you can really say. It's just you got to watch who you having sex with. You have to really trust them. You have to be open enough to talk to them and ask them questions.
Let's say I'm going to go on a date with you. What are the questions you're going to ask?
I asked you, do you have a girlfriend? Are you sexually active? I would know about you before I went out with you, but I wouldn't have sex with you the first time I met you.
Would you believe me if I said no?
No, you have to show me things to make me believe you. I just don't believe what people say because they're lying anyway.
Do you want to see an HIV test?
I haven't thought about it that far, but I know right now I don't know any high school boy that just has one girlfriend. I don't know what it is. I guess they feel that they have to conquer as many people as they can, but I don't know any.
They were talking about guys aren't always trustworthy. Girls aren't always trustworthy either.
That's right, that's right.
Girls...
Now, why aren't they trustworthy?
Because just like guys, you're talking, well, you know, I really care about you. Yeah, baby, I care about you too. 2 days later, she's walking with your buddy.
Who is at greater risk, though, of getting AIDS? Both. You or you? Both equally?
Males or more?
Males have more risk or less? Females have more risk. In one study of 379 couples where one partner had AIDS and the other didn't, 61 women got the virus and 1 man.
All right. I would like to know if you have any questions for Dr. Bob.
This might seem like a silly question, but I heard that you can get it from kissing. Even if you don't have a cut in your mouth, they said that the AIDS virus can still be present in your saliva. And I want to know if you can get it from actual kissing, you know, without having any blood contact, because there's a lot of yes and no, if and if answers, and I want to know if anybody's sure about that.
Well, you're at risk anytime you exchange bodily fluids. So whether it's saliva or semen, there is some risk. However, there's very little of the virus in saliva, and there's not a single documented case of one individual contracting the AIDS virus from another through kissing.
What kinds of sexual behavior are most at risk for getting AIDS?
The highest risk sexual behavior is going to be anal intercourse. Now, that's especially true if it's male-to-male anal intercourse. But for men and women, it's also the highest risk. Then you have vaginal sex. After that, you have oral sex. And the lowest risk is going to be kissing. Very low to probably no risk at all.
If we get tested right now, it can come out negative, and then we can get tested a year from now and it'll come out positive. So how can we be sure to even go get tested if it will come out negative, and then say we have sex again and then it comes out positive later and I've infected 3 other people or something like that?
It's quite true that for about 6 to 12 weeks after you've been infected, there may not be enough antibodies for the test to work to show you're positive, and in some cases as long as 6 months. But it is important to get tested because there's so much you could do now. 5 or 10 years ago, it didn't make as much sense. Now that, as with magic, you can take AZT, this drug, you can significantly prolong your life if you are positive. You said you've had multiple sexual partners. Have you considered having an AIDS test?
Well, I thought about it.
What stopped you?
I don't know, I guess I was scared.
Scared of finding out you might be positive?
Yeah.
Magic had it. He still, you know, sits on a bench with the Lakers. But it's like if a person came to school and they knew that a student had AIDS, that'd be, you know, he wouldn't have any friends or she wouldn't have any friends. And
they would
it was like, yeah, they'll be avoided.
And one other question about magic. You know, a lot of people think that his promiscuity was morally wrong, and that he's paying the price.
I feel that he might just have been doing something that he thought was fun, and he probably didn't think of it at the time. I mean, yes, it was unsafe and he was in the wrong, but at that time, he probably didn't know any better.
He shouldn't have to pay, you know. It's his life. His life will be taken for one little mistake. I mean, it was a big mistake, but he shouldn't have to pay his life for it.
Next, we have a story that is as stunning and significant as Magic's because it deals with a life, the life of a woman who, like Magic, doesn't know exactly how she got the virus. That's coming up. According to the Centers for Disease Control, about 11,000 heterosexual Americans have been afflicted with AIDS in the past decade. That's less than 6% of the 200,000 AIDS victims. But the number of heterosexual cases jumped 40% last year. That's faster than any other category. Next, we have one person's story, a heterosexual woman who is a 3-time victim of AIDS. Her story may seem unique tonight, but she's come forward for the first time because she fears her story could become yours. This is Roxy Ventola. She's 44 years old. 2 years ago, she tested positive for the HIV virus. She doesn't know how she got the virus or when. All she knows is that it will eventually kill her. But at this point, Roxy doesn't care, because 3 weeks ago, the AIDS virus killed her husband and her baby.
I thought it would have been better if we would have died, the three of us, in a car crash. That's what I thought.
Why do you say that?
Because of the pain of living with this disease. The social stigma. That's why I want people to wake up. The virus can infect anyone. And I want people to look at me and know that they could be sitting here.
Do you know how you got AIDS?
No, we don't. We were never any kind of drug users. Neither were we virgins when we married each other. And I also had a transfusion when I lost a baby. So we really don't know.
Do you think that you may have gotten AIDS from heterosexual contact?
We were monogamous always to each other. So it had to come about, if it was a sexual transmission, before we were together. But I don't know. I don't know.
The story of Roxy and Vinny is as much a love story as it is a tragedy. When they met about 10 years ago in Los Angeles, they became instant soulmates, best friends, and partners, writing comedy scripts for television. 3 years later, they were married.
He was my writing partner, my husband, my friend.
After you got married, there was one other thing that you felt was missing in your life, and you wanted to fulfill that.
A baby. We wanted a baby so badly. I know. I did 6 years of infertility treatments, and then a miracle happened, and I was pregnant. That was the happiest time of my life, Connie, when I was pregnant.
On August 5th, 1989, Miranda Rose weighed in at a healthy 6.5 pounds. Roxy and Vinny knew that now they had it all. But 4 months later, just days before Miranda's first Christmas, she got sick, and their dream turned into a nightmare.
She had RSV pneumonia, which was going around for children here. But she wouldn't get better, and she went through a series of hospitals until she ended up at UCLA on an ECMO machine, which is a heart-lung bypass machine, totally experimental. And the day they took her off that machine is the day the doctors told us that she had pneumocystis and that she was testing positively for the AIDS virus.
That same day, Vinny and Roxy also tested positive for the virus.
We told some of our friends at first because we were in such shock, and we never saw them again. So we decided not to tell for a while because we didn't want everybody to abandon us. And we also wanted our families to have a year. This is my parents' only grandchild. Happy birthday to
Miranda's first birthday party was the last joyful event that the families would celebrate.
We're very happy. Nobody watching this video will ever know what this birthday means to us. And there's never been a baby that's been as wanted and as loved. Right, Rox?
That's right.
In the year to come, Miranda became very ill. As she grew, learning to walk and talk, the virus grew as well. Roxy and Vinny did all they could for Miranda until Vinny got sick and Roxy was left to nurse her dying family. Then just 3 weeks ago, Vinny took a terrible turn for the worse.
He wouldn't take any morphine until I came. And he was lucid. And he wanted me to talk to him. So I did a spiritual filibuster for 8 hours straight, making him laugh, telling him about our love. I said, you don't have to be worried about me. I give you my word, I'll take care of our child and myself. And you don't have that burden and responsibility anymore.
On November 17th, Vinny died in Roxy's arms. Roxy spent the next week planning Vinny's memorial, immersing herself in the details of the service, not realizing that her baby was getting worse. That Saturday, Roxy held Miranda in her arms, as she had held Vinny just days before.
And I told her it was okay, that Daddy was going to take care of her. She'd see her Daddy standing there waiting with his arms open, and that I wanted her to go to him, but not to forget her Mommy. And she gave me 4 smiles, and she touched my jewels and patted my face. And she died peacefully with it. She just stopped breathing.
The very next day, Roxy had Vinny and Miranda's memorial service. 170 of their friends, even the ones who had turned their backs on them, came to say goodbye.
After they died, I thought, why go on living? And doing this right here is filling the emptiness for me inside. Because if I could do some good, I don't want any mother in this country to go through what I went through. Feeling like you passed this thing on to your child. But what I'd like to say is it's not important how you get the disease. People don't go around asking cancer victims how they got it. The important thing is that we have the disease and we have to live with it.
Magic Johnson has said that he's going to try and beat it.
I know he'll try and he'll stay healthy, and I hope he will. Maybe he'll be around long enough to benefit from the cure. But it's a stage you go through to protect yourself, to think when you're still healthy that it won't happen to me. But that hasn't been the case in anyone with this disease.
Do you think that you're beating AIDS mentally?
Yes, I do. I do, because I'm not afraid to die, and because I know when I die, that virus dies with me, and there's a little less of it in the world.
Magic Johnson is hardly the first celebrity to suffer a sudden fall from grace. Next Wednesday, 48 Hours returns with some prominent people who had it all and lost it. You'll join Imelda Marcos for her last 48 hours in exile in New York City.
Oh, thank you very much. That's very kind. Thank you.
You'll also catch up with Trash TV's Morton Downey Jr., now bankrupt.
Funny thing happened on the way to the bank.
Hollywood renegade Sean Young.
And you want to tell me I'm crazy?
And football superstar and ex-convict Mercury Morris. That's 48 Hours, The Harder They Fall. Next Wednesday at 10, 9 Central and Mountain. And that's our program for tonight. I'm Connie Chung. We thank you so much for being with us. For those of you who can't wait to see Magic play in the Olympics next year, these shots are for you. Good night.
weapon. There's a body. There's a motive. You must be at the scene of the crime. An all-new Scene of the Crime tonight on Crime Time after Prime Time. Thanks for being with CBS Tonight. Now get ready for your local news.
A three-pointer by Bill. The Notre Damer shot is an air ball taken by Magic. He throws to the other end. It went in! It went in! Ladies and gentlemen, unbelievable.
For a transcript, please send $5 to Journal Graphics.